But I did want to ask about specifically your process in writing Max Meow, because you're brainstorming with the kids. You've got, I assume, do you know your ending? Do you have some kind of outline, or are you just page by page what's going to make the best panel? How much planning are you doing in advance?
Usually what I'll do is, so going all the way back to the pitch, essentially what I did was I pitched the Amazon paragraph describing the book, for 3 books. So I gave an overview of Max Meow. I said, in this issue, and it's almost like just an overview of kind of what could be happening. And then when the interest was enough there, then I went into a very detailed, where I kind of just a stream of consciousness wrote several paragraphs about what was going to happen in the first Max Meow book. And what was great about this was I was doing it because I was required to. Nobody's going to invest in your book if they don't have some idea of what's going to happen. And it forced me to write it and then think like, oh, I have to foreshadow this somehow. So I would say this was the most outlined any of my books had ever been before. And it still is I tried to leave enough open spaces so I could add some silliness here and there. For instance, there's I had Max was going to run to Mindy's lab. That's pretty much all I had written. And then I ended up having Max run past this very grumpy cat who, yells, and he's like, he's just that grumpy guy you see on the street who has a problem with anything. And then later on, I'm having this big battle take place between Max and Agent M and these creatures that came to life from a miniature golf course. And somehow it came into my head like, oh, they're gonna smash that old guy's car or something like that. He became a reoccurring character, and he shows up in at least the first 3 Max Meow books, and really was just a throwaway. And that's one of those things where there's an outline of the overview, but I want to have those moments where little fun things sort of happen.
With a book like this, where the plot just moves, and it has to, because we're getting a new splash page. It's a couple of chapters. We better bring in a dinosaur. Let's get to it.
Right.
Or is it going with that? Oh, when you have a character like the grumpy old guy, who we've now seen a couple of times, do you then feel an obligation that, oh, this person, I've spent enough time with them that they have to be a bigger part of the story?
Yeah, it's funny because this older guy, I have an idea where the payoff is going to be, and I was going to do it in the second book with him, and then in the third book. Like, I started to get ideas like, oh, he can do this. This would be so funny because he's so negative all the time. I'll have him do something that's really cool. And I just never get around to it because he's always so full of being a jerk. It's like that thing. There's one scene where he is on a bicycle and he's zooming past people and knocking them down. And we've all been on the street where we have that one guy that's obnoxiously ignoring or traffic, and you just wish like, oh, I wish like Godzilla's foot would just come down and smash his car. So he's become that guy where I can take out all those angsty feelings about people who cut me in traffic or in the grocery line. And I guess when I work through those feelings, then maybe I can let him have his happy ending.